I can figure out what I'm doing here. Let me see if I can get this music turned off real quick. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday night. Hope everybody's ready for the weekend. Jason Akers with Green Akers Pest Control. Let's see what we got going on tonight. So, hope everybody's having a good night. Hope everybody's ready for the weekend. I know I am. I'm late tonight. Had to take my youngest, my 4-month-old, out to UVA. They had a ears, throat, and nose specialist take a look at him. He's got laryngomalacia. So they had to, if you want to Google that, it's basically a floppy voice box. So he breathes weird. And had to take a look at him, make sure he was healthy, and which he is, of course. He's fine. Nothing wrong with him, really. So, let's see. So they changed my Amazon page. It's kind of annoying. I don't like that they did it. This is what it looks like now. Amazon apparently thinks everybody wants to see pictures of B&Gs because usually that's like the first item that's on the list that I recommend. And so I don't know how to fix it. I just found out today that they did this. So if you're trying to find out what types of items work on different things, I mean, I know it's more consolidated into a nice little easy list here. But Asian lady beetles, it's just got the pesticide listed there. Termites, you got to click it to go to it. You know, it's kind of weird the way it works. Like if you want to do ant control, like you click there, and it brings up all the stuff for ants. Really easy to find that stuff too. Tells you all the prices and everything, what all is. But like I said, I don't like it. You gotta just kind of pay attention to the title. But it looks like I'm just selling a bunch of B&Gs, like I'm a B&G salesman or something, which is not true. It's just what I recommend for each one of these services. But you got like fruit flies, lice. Like, see, it's just got a lice comb, but that's the stuff for lice that I recommend. And so it's kind of irritating. Bedbugs, New York and Canada, you know, it's, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like what they've done, but I like the way it used to be. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. I hope everybody's ready for the weekend and everybody's had a good week so far. Since the last time I was here chatting with everybody. Not very many people in chat tonight. Not yet, anyway. Let me see. Let me make sure I got my chat window open. There we go. So if you have any questions about pest control tonight, I'm more than happy to answer anything you've got. That's what I do on the weekends. Or not the weekends, but on Thursday nights. What was that thing that I wanted to talk about, Alicia?
Was it something about carpenter bees?
No. I already did that. I put that on YouTube about carpenter bees.
Treatments?
Heat treatments? Yeah, I'm going to go over something about heat treatments.
I think you wanted to do another video on heat treatments.
I'm going to do a video on heat treatment. Which everybody knows I hate heat treatments. If you're not living under a rock and you've been subscribed to my channel, yeah, more than 10 minutes on here, you'll find out I hate heat treatments. Let's talk about the psychological effect bed bugs have on people. Yeah, I have a video on that. But so yeah, we could do that. So I'm in TikTok too. For those on YouTube, I have TikTok, and it's up here on my phone, and they're looking at me pointing up to the ceiling. But so a lot of people when they get, yes, steam does help for the car. A lot of people when they get bed bugs have a psychological effect on people. When you get them, if you've had them for any extended period of time, they're absolutely miserable. They eat you alive every day. They bite you multiple times a day or night while you sleep. You wake up, you're sore or itchy, and you can suffer with these things for months. Some people even have them for years. And when you finally do get rid of them, it's almost like you feel like you haven't actually gotten rid of them. It couldn't be possible to ever deal with the fact that these things are gone. And so it can affect you psychologically. You can have what they call parasitic psychosis, which is you're obsessed with, you know, the fact that you still think you have bed bugs even though you don't. You'll itch, you'll get prickles, you can even get bumps. Your body can have a nervous system reaction, and you can have little bug bite looking bumps come up on your body. It's called stress. They're called stress bumps, and they'll itch and scratch, and you'll scratch them and stuff, just like bed bug bites. But it's not really bed bugs. It's really more of a stress-induced thing that will happen to you. And so it's absolutely something that happens with people with bed bugs. I see it all the time. And sometimes people obsess over them to the point where they're absolutely positive that they have bed bugs, and they'll always have bed bugs, even though the bed bugs have been dead for maybe even a year or more. So, yeah, that's a psychological effect that bed bugs have. It's almost like a PTSD. So, let's see if I can fix my camera a little bit. There we go. But Carlos asked in YouTube about does steam help for your car? And the thing about a car is cars will get hot in the summer anyway. We're coming into summertime. I actually talked to a lady on the phone about this from Virginia earlier today. She was wanting to park her car in like a parking lot. And I was like, yeah, in the summertime when it gets nice and hot and the sun shines through the windshield, you can park your car. If you have problems with bed bugs in your car, you could park it in the middle of like a Walmart or a Target, way on the end of the parking lot where there's no trees, and face it to where you get the blunt of the afternoon sun. So you with the windshield facing the afternoon sun, so that, and just leave it parked out there for 3 or 4 hours, and it will actually heat up the car to plus 125 degrees, which will kill eggs, and it'll kill bed bug eggs, and it will kill the bed bug larva. I mean, not larva, but the babies, the nymphs, and the adults. So I usually recommend to do that in the summertime. You can treat your car with pesticides, but the problem with pesticides is that they do break down with sunlight. So one of the problems with, so like sunlight, when you have sunlight, the ultraviolet rays of the sun break down pesticides. Not only that, but intense heat will also cook and ruin pesticides. So when you have a car that has a bed bug problem, it's more effective in the summer to park your car in direct sunlight so that the car will actually heat up. The bed bugs can't get away. The only problem with this is that your trunk, if it's an automobile, not like a van or something, but if you have a trunk, the trunk of the car will be actually insulated. There's usually like a foam insulation around the outside of the trunk that will keep it from getting so hot. And so you want to treat the trunk of the car with a pesticide residue, so if the bed bugs try to retreat into the trunk, they don't really have anywhere to go and they'll die in the trunk of the car. So, but you can steam. Steam does kill bed bugs. I usually don't recommend steam as an option for bed bugs because steam is it's not residual. So even if you do steam your car, if you hit a bed bug with steam, it's going to kill it. You're going to kill the bed bug instantly. Great. Perfect. The problem is when you turn the steam off, if there's any bed bugs hidden away in cracks and crevices and places the steam can't get to, then they can still crawl out and live. So usually what I recommend people do is steam clean and then apply the pesticide, wait a month, or wait 2 weeks. If it's an automobile, wait 2 weeks. And then you can steam clean and you can reapply the pesticide. But you don't want to steam clean after, for the same reason that you don't want to park the car in direct sunlight after you've sprayed, because the ultraviolet rays will and the heat will ruin the pesticide. Also, the steam will ruin the pesticide as well. What are your thoughts on the parachuting spiders we're supposed to get? Oh, I can't wait. I always look forward to a new bug. You know, they had the killer hornets there back after COVID. And man, I never got to kill not one single nest of killer hornets. I always look forward to some new kind of crazy bug they've got out. It doesn't bother me one single bit. I look forward to it. I've got a customer of mine that's, she's scared of spiders, and they were worried about them real bad. But I was like, man, I look forward to it. I like to have something new. I've been in pest control all my life, and I look forward to getting rid of some type of new bug that they've got released, even by accident. So, and I'm, like I said, I'm answering for people in YouTube that don't know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to TikTok. Which, for people in TikTok, I have all the links are in my bio. I have a link tree with all the links to all the different places that I am. But YouTube is where I got started, and I've got, 13 people on YouTube now watching the video, which, by the way, if you're watching me on YouTube, try to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you like my content. But I've got about 20,000 subs on YouTube, so I stay pretty busy on YouTube. And for those on YouTube that want to watch me on TikTok for like just minute-long snippets on pest control and just some funny, goofy things I do with the family, then the link is also in my description below, so you can go check that out. Feel free to ask any questions you got, Harold. Let's see. Got any good stories of having to fight a bug? What's the scariest encounter that I've had? The scariest encounter I've ever had, I think I might have gone over this on YouTube one time, but I had to go kill well, I didn't kill it, but I had to go take care of a rattlesnake. That's probably the scariest thing I ever had to do in pest control. And I mean, I've gone after money before. I've had to go do collections, and the guy chased me off with a baseball bat one time. That was not near as scary as going after a rattlesnake. So, do bed bugs only bite once? I get one bump on my arm and it freaks me out. Bed bugs usually bite multiple times when they're in the nymph stage, the very young stage of bed bugs. They can bite, they usually only bite, they can bite once, they can bite 2 or 3 times, but it is possible for them to get their entire blood meal with just one bug bite. But it's not common. Most of the time, bed bugs bite 2 or 3 times. What happens is bed bugs don't have sticky pads on their feet like fleas and spiders and ants and other types of bugs. And so what happens is when they bite you, they get kind of groggy and they get clumsy, and they'll actually slip and fall off when they're trying to bite you. And so they have to bite in a new spot, but they're not full yet, so they bite in a new spot and they start to engorge again, and then they fall off and they bite again, which is why you get 2 or 3 bumps in a row, because they're slipping and falling off and biting you. But then once they get full, they crawl right off and they go hiding wherever they hide. How do you suggest treating a tractor trailer? So if you're treating a tractor trailer, if you're talking about the cab, the back of the truck you can treat, like a U-Haul or a tractor trailer truck, you can treat pretty easy. Just treat all the corners. But if you're in the cab, you need to, if you can, pull out the mattress. Not all of them are easy to get out of there, but I usually recommend removing the mattress and removing as much as you can out of the cab and treat everything really thoroughly. Put your mattress back, treat your mattress, put it back, and then wait until it's dry, and then put make your bed and everything like you normally would, and put your belongings back in your trailer. But that's what I recommend you do for treating a tractor trailer cab. And the chairs and everything around your seat belts, all that stuff. Bed bugs will live on the air ride equipment underneath the seat, so you need to treat that too. Treat around, don't get into the electronics or anything like that, but you do need to treat around the bottom of the seat. But I'm not really scared of bugs. I've never really been scared of bugs. When I was little, I was really little, just to get back on what you were asking me on TikTok, is when I was really little, I was scared of spiders. I used to be really scared of spiders. I used to have nightmares about spiders. And my sisters played a trick on me one time where they took a lot of those, you could buy those little spiders at Halloween, and they took a little bag, it was like a baggie about that big, full of little plastic spiders, and poured them all out in my sheets. And I had to go make my bed one night. When I pulled the sheets out of the linen closet to go make my bed, they went all over me, and I screamed like a girl and ran, and they thought that was hilarious. They got it on camera and everything. But yeah, that was a little embarrassing. But I used to be scared of spiders. I'm not scared of pretty much any bug anymore. Like I said, I look forward to new bugs. They talk about these parachuting spiders and stuff, and these new spiders coming in from Georgia and different places. Yeah, I look forward to attacking them. I like any kind of new bug I can try to target and get rid of. I had a wooden bed frame, and I found a couple of bed bugs in it. I made a bonfire and burned the surface of the whole frame and dusted it lightly with diatomaceous earth. That's not a good idea. I haven't seen any other bed bugs in the room, but I dusted the crevices with some diatomaceous earth. I covered the mattress with a bed bug cover. I'm currently sleeping in a guest room. So I don't recommend diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is a very bad... I hate that there are so many videos on YouTube trying to teach people to use it, that it's a really cheap and effective way to get rid of bed bugs and other types of bugs. It's actually a very cheap, effective way to make yourself really sick. If you go and read some of the comments, I could read you. Actually, let me read you some of my comments that I get on my Diatomaceous Earth video. So let's see. Diatomaceous, DE, Green Acres. All right. I'm going to read to you some of these. Oh, if I can find it. There it is.
If you want...
All right. Let me see here. Trying to find them. Yeah, but there are people that have commented on my... It's hard for me to find it. But there are people that have commented on my DE videos talking about how they treated with diatomaceous earth and now they can't breathe. It affects their lung capacity. It affects their... Oh, and there's a call. Let me answer this real quick. Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. Can I help you?
Yes, hi, Jason. I wouldn't call, but I'm desperate.
You're fine.
We had a bad... pardon me?
You're good. What you got?
Well, we had a bad case of bed bugs, so we used the Crossfire. We've used it 3 times, and I'm still getting bit. It's been probably 2 months now, and we found some bed bugs on a tree outside.
Now that doesn't
which
sound
I thought was really strange. Yeah, I know. It was full of them. And so we've sprayed. We did it exactly like you said to do it, used the right amount. And last night I was getting bit again, and I found one this morning in the bed. I must have smooshed him because there was blood and he was dead.
Okay.
But I don't know what else to do.
Well,
I'm desperate because I am bit all up. I have scars everywhere.
Have you... Now, do you live in a single-family home, or do you live in an apartment?
We live in a mobile home park.
So you don't have an attic?
Own. No attic.
Now I'm amazed. All right, so where do you live, if you don't mind me asking? Which state?
In Oroville, California, in Butte County.
So how warm is it outside year-round? Like, do you have seasons?
Yeah, kind of. We have winter and we have summer.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought most people say about California.
Yeah, it's true. We kind of had cold weather and now it's been in the 80s.
Yeah, so, all right, bed bugs, the problem with bed bugs, when you say you found them living in a tree, usually that's a different breed of bed bug. So there's multiple different breeds of bed bug. Not every bed bug is a human bed bug. You've got bird bed bugs, which are like chimney swift bugs. You have bat bugs. You have bed bugs. There's different breeds of bed bug. And so what I would think you would have would be more along the lines of something like a bird bug or a chimney swift bug, which is a type of a bed bug that feeds on birds. Now they look the same, and if they get into your house, they have no problem feeding on you. They will feed on you. And you will kill them. You will, even after spraying with Crossfire, you will find dead ones, but then you will continue to have live ones too, because they're continuing to come in from outside. And so usually... How
are they getting in? I mean, we got a thing, we put those plastic square things, and we even sprayed those.
Oh, they can
and
get
I don't know how they're getting on the bed.
They can get past interceptors. Interceptors don't work. Interceptors are a scam. They don't work.
They don't work?
No, they don't ever work.
Okay.
I've watched bed bugs climb up and over those things. They don't work. And I've never...
You have?
I've never actually witnessed a brand of interceptor that actually works 100%. Every one of them, at some point, the bed bugs will find their way out of one and up onto the bed. And so they don't ever... I
was desperate.
But, oh yeah, I know, a lot of people
because my whole body, my legs, my arms, everywhere is I have scars from being bit so many times.
Right, and if you've got, so what I would recommend that you do that would probably help you a lot, because if they're coming from outside, then now you can't use Crossfire on the outside of the house. It's not going to be effective anyway, because it's going to be a non-repellent.
Okay, that's good to know.
You want to use a repellent pesticide, so what you need to do is you need to get like a general use pesticide. You might even be able to use like home defense or something like that. But you just treat around outside the trailer. You want to treat around the windows and the doors, around where the underpinning goes, underneath the edge of the trailer, all the way around the edge of the
Okay.
trailer and around your windows and doors, because what that will do is it will create a repellent barrier that if the bugs try to get into your house, they won't want to cross over it, because it's like they know if they do, they're going to die. And so maybe that will force them to stay outside instead of coming in your house, because that's what it sounds like to me that you've got going on.
Well, I even found 2 on the kitchen, the bathroom sink, and in the bathtub.
Yeah, and see, that
And
doesn't
we sprayed
sound
the
like...
bathroom.
Yeah, see, that doesn't sound like bed bugs. That really does sound like a different, like a bird. Like it sounds like bat bugs, to be honest with you, but I don't think that's what you've got, because you live in a trailer. People that get bat bugs typically have an attic, and they'll be living in the attic. And when the bats migrate, when the temperatures change and the bats are going after mosquitoes, they will. The bed bugs are now in the attic. They don't have a host, and they'll start coming down into the house and start biting people. But you don't have an attic. Now,
We don't
sometimes
have an
bats
attic,
will
so-
roost on the house. Sometimes, like if you have a awning or a overhang out in the front, maybe like a front porch that's covered, sometimes bats will roost on your front porch up against the wood, and then the bat bugs will come into the house that way. But that's not as common as like a chimney or an attic space.
Yeah, and we don't have any of that.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So that
but
would lead me to believe you've
like
got
I
something
said, we've
else.
used Crossfire 3 times,
Yeah.
and it is a good product.
Yeah.
And it has minimized them, but I'm still getting bit like
Yeah,
I did
and that's
last
why I
night.
think
And
you've been having a new infestation coming in. And if they're coming in from outside
new
and
one?
all you're using is Crossfire, then they're not going to know anything's been done. It's not going to change their behavior. They're going to continue to try to come into the house. They won't know anything's been done. And as it goes longer and longer after your treatment, so if you treat your house immediately, the day you treat, they die within 5-10 minutes of being treated. But after a week or so, it may take them a few hours, maybe even a day to die. They're still going to die, but in that amount of time, they can still come out and bite you. And so you're going to still get bit. Even though the bed bugs are in a state of death, they're not dead yet. And so that's where you'll have that problem. And I have to explain that to customers all the time, because I'll go out to people's house and I'll treat with Crossfire, and I'll tell them, I said, expect a resurgence within 2 to 3 weeks, because that's how long it takes for the babies to bite once they've hatched. I said it takes about 3 weeks to get bit from a bed bug egg that was laid today. And so you might have a resurgence within 2 to 3 weeks, but then after that, they're all dead, unless they're coming in from another location.
And what should we use on the outside? We have that other, that stuff that you buy at Home Depot.
Yeah, well, that might work.
Bed bug spray.
Yeah, as long as it's like deltamethrin, bifenthrin, cypermethrin. There's lots of synthetic.
What brand do you recommend?
Brand?
Which one do you recommend that we can get at Home Depot?
Probably any type. Honestly, it probably won't
Any
even matter.
type.
You'll just need to make sure bed bugs are on the label, but mainly that it's a synthetic pyrethroid. And a synthetic pyrethroid is going to end in a thrin, Thrin. So when you look at the active ingredient, when you look at the active ingredient, you'll have an ingredient like permethrin or bifenthrin.
Okay, I have the bottle right here. It says Ortho Bed Bug Killer, kills fleas and ticks and bed bugs and eggs.
Yeah, you could. It depends. Let me see. Let me look. Ortho.
It's Ortho.
What's the active ingredient?
Home Defense. Oh, God, I can't see it.
Front, bottom left.
Oh, it's on the front.
Yeah,
bottom
it's on the very
left.
front of the left. Usually, on the bottom left, it'll say active ingredient. It's always on the front of the label.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Okay, let me have somebody look at it because my vision's horrible.
What is it called? You say
What's
it's Ortho
the active
Home
ingredient
Defense.
in that? It says Ortho Home Defense Max Bed Bug Flea and Tick Killer. Can you see what the active ingredient is on that? It's on the front, he said, on the bottom left.
Usually, at the bottom left or bottom right.
or look, or bottom right.
Ingredients is
Bifenthrin.
Bifenthrin. That's bifenthrin. That'll work.
Bifenthrin. That'll work?
Yeah.
Okay, so do the outside as well.
Yeah, around the windows and doors. Now, not in the
Around the
house.
windows and doors.
Don't use it in the house
Just
because
outside.
if you're using
No,
that.
don't you? I know. We learned that.
Yeah, bifenthrin, because it's a repellent. The problem with bifenthrin is that it will repel the bugs, and it will last up to 90 days. And if you put that around in the house and you're using Crossfire, the bifenthrin will actually counteract the Crossfire because it will shine through. Because your Crossfire is non-repellent, your bifenthrin is repellent. The bifenthrin is going to repel the bed
So
bugs.
you're fighting against each other.
Exactly. And the bifenthrin will be less effective.
Okay, so use that on the outside and keep using the Crossfire on the inside.
Correct.
Okay. I'll give that a try and see what happens because I'm really tired of being bit.
I understand. They're a miserable thing to have.
And the itching is horrible. Yeah, they're horrible and they're really hard to get rid of.
Oh, yeah, I know. I deal with them all the time. Every day.
I mean, is it normal to be going through this after 3 treatments of Crossfire?
So, in the amount of treatments I've done in the past year, and I'm talking like in the year of 2021, I went back on maybe 3, maybe 4. I didn't have to treat but one time. But I'm a professional. I've been doing this for over 23 years of my life.
Yeah.
And so someone that's a novice that may not have the experience I have, it may take several times to get rid of them. Usually I recommend that people doing it on their own do it at least once a month every 30 days. And so that way you've because the chemical will last for 30 days, and that gives you an active ingredient out for a 90-day period, which will usually take care of the problem. And that way you've got something down all the time. In case you do accidentally miss a spot, then maybe you'll get that spot next month. And so that's the reason why I tell people that are just doing it the first time.
That makes sense.
So
now I have a question. I don't want anybody to hear me. We have a person that lives with us, and he works in a warehouse. He's outside, and he works in a warehouse. Could he be bringing them home?
It's a possibility. It depends. Like if they have a locker room, sometimes warehouses will have
a big warehouse with food. It's a big warehouse with food.
Probably not. I mean, but if they, like I said, if they have a locker room, if you go to work and they have a locker room and you go in and you change in and out of your work clothes and you put your work clothes in a locker beside someone else's, then you can get bed bugs that way. That's real common.
Then you can get them that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but if he's just going to work and then coming home, then no, probably
then it's not that.
Unless he's letting bumming somebody to work. Somebody bum a ride to work or something like that. They'll get in your car. You can treat your car as well, just to make sure you don't have them in there too.
Okay, and use the Crossfire in the vehicle.
Crossfire inside the vehicle.
Okay. Well, I'll give all this a try, and I'll let you know how it all works out. I'll email you instead of calling you because I know you're live right now, and I watch your show constantly.
Well, I like it though. It helps a lot of people when you call and you have the gumption to call up and to put your problem out on the air where everybody can hear it. It helps a lot of people, so I appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely, and I understand what people go through, and I'm desperate, so it was well worth calling.
No problem. You have a good night.
Okay, you too. Thank you, Jason. Bye-bye.
Oh boy, a lot of people have talked since I last said something. I was on the phone with somebody. I'm getting a Charlie horse, and that really hurts. Whew. Holy cow. All right. So anyway, I hate Charlie horses. Probably need some magnesium in my diet. All right, I tried to catch your last string. All right, let's see. Boy, oh boy. What one is harder to get rid of, bed bugs or German cockroaches? Well, I don't really have a problem with bed bugs or German cockroaches. Probably the one bug that gives me the most trouble are ants. What else would you suggest I do now? I'm pretty broke and I have a ton of diatomaceous earth because it helps my cats with fleas. DE causes silicosis, which is true. It does. The problem with DE... so diatomaceous earth. This is one of the things, I actually explained this in one of my videos. I don't think anybody ever watches the video all the way through because I run my mouth too much. But diatomaceous earth is a silicate. Now, a silicate is like you have liquids. All right, liquids. Water is a liquid. What? Lots of liquids. Urine is a liquid. Okay, so you have liquids. Okay, and then you have silicate. A silicate is like sand is a silicate. Silica dioxide is a silicate. That's what they put in those little packets that they put inside your shoes to keep your shoes from getting wet. They absorb moisture. Silicates do absorb moisture. Salt is a type of a silicate. And so when you've got DE, okay, diatomaceous earth is not a silicate. It is, diatoms are not a silicate. Diatoms are crustaceans. They're microscopic crustaceans. And that's what they are. All right, the problem is that diatomaceous earth is not solely diatoms. It's diatoms plus silica powder. So the silicates are what carry the diatoms. So you can't just have diatoms on their own. It's diatoms plus something else. If you look at the packet, in fact, we can do that right now. Let's look up a packet of diatomaceous earth. I search it a lot. You can tell it's in my search history. All right, so we go to, let's look at this food grade. All right, everybody loves a food grade diatomaceous earth. $6.86 a bag. Damn, that's cheap. Wow. All right, it's a 4-pound bag. That's a lot. All right, diatomaceous earth, 100%. See back label for directions and use. But the problem is it says diatomaceous earth. So it's diatomaceous earth, not just diatoms. So you have to look up, well, this is not even going to give me what's in the label. Let's see, ingredients, diatomaceous earth. All right, let's see if we can find a different one because that's for pets. Let's see, let's look at this one. All right, this is diatomaceous earth from, let's see, they'll have it in there. All right, see, other ingredients, 15% other ingredients. Okay, so there we go. That is a good, now you see that label. I don't know if you can read that or not on YouTube, but it's diatomaceous earth consisting of silicon dioxide. All right, that's what's in it. That's what carries the diatoms. All right, so if you have a pesticide, if you have like let's say you mix up Crossfire. All right, you have 115 ounces of water, 13 ounces of Crossfire active solution, makes a gallon of Crossfire. All right, the water carries the Crossfire. So when you spray it, the water sprays out. It takes the Crossfire that's also mixed in the water into a crack or a crevice where it needs to go. The water evaporates, leaving the Crossfire behind. That's how it works. So when your diatomaceous earth is not just diatomaceous earth, it's not just diatoms. It's diatoms plus silica dioxide, which carries the diatoms to where they need to go. And silica dioxide also dries things out. Like I said, the whole point is the diatoms will scratch the insect's body, their exoskeleton. It makes little micro abrasions in their exoskeleton. And then the silica dioxide, which is also there in the diatomaceous earth, dries them out. That's the way it kills a bug. So the two kind of work together. All right. The problem is when you breathe it into your lungs. All right, it's a dust. If I have some dust on my desk because I'm a horrible duster, and if I just go, now I got dust everywhere. All right, you can do that, and the dust will go in the air, even if it's real mild dust. The thing is dust is constantly in the air in your house all the time. If you take diatomaceous earth and you put it all over your bed frame and all over your mattress and all over your mattress encasements and all that crap, and then you lay on the bed, you're gonna poof the dust cloud. You're gonna have a dust cloud form in your room. You may not even be able to see it unless you shine a light and you see the rays of the sun come in the morning, and you'll see it flittering and floating in the air. All right, that's dust. That's dust particles. That's what that is. And if you put diatomaceous earth into your house and you add that to the dust that's already in your house, you're going to have diatoms mixed with dust floating in the air of your house. And if you're putting it on your bed, on your mattress, you're going to breathe that crap into your lungs. You will not be able to avoid it. So people will argue. They'll say, well, I have food grade. Food grade's okay. You're talking about pool grade diatomaceous earth. You're not talking about food grade. All right, the truth is that pool grade diatomaceous earth is more toxic to your lungs than food grade, but they both have what's called crystalline diatomaceous earth. You have two different types. You have amorphous and crystalline. Crystalline is what causes lung problems. It's what causes COPD, asthma, silicosis by breathing that in. You can never, ever remove all crystalline diatomaceous earth from it. All right, pool grade has more crystalline in it because they don't filter it as heavily as they do something that's going to be in someone's house. But either way, they can't remove it all, and that's what causes you harm. That's what makes you sick. That's what hurts you. Even if you're using something like this pesticide, like this Harris stuff, like I was showing you, this stuff right here, this stuff right here, this is okay to use inside your house. At least that's what they say. But the problem is if you misapply it, or even if you apply it at all right, you can apply it in the cracks. It's very hard to do that without making a mess everywhere, but you can do it with that little duster that they show you. Like if you look at this little duster right here, that little squeegee little duster thing, that comes with it, and that way you've got that little tip right there. You could take that and put it into a crack and puff DE into a crack, and you're not going to breathe it. It's not going to be as likely to have dust permeate into the room where you're going to breathe it in. But I would still recommend every time applying dust that you use a dust mask if you really want to go that route. But DE is repellent to bed bugs. People will say it's not, but it absolutely is. And if you're applying diatomaceous earth, a bed bug is not going to want to crawl over diatoms. All right? Would you want to walk through a sea of broken glass? No, you would not. You would say, hell no, I'm not walking through that. I'm going to slice my feet all to pieces. And the bed bug says the same thing. Like, I'm not going to walk across that. That'll slice me to pieces and I'll die. So they don't do it. They don't do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yes, people sell it because they want to make money off of you and take advantage of you and your ignorance. They're taking advantage of you. And I'm just here telling you exactly what works, exactly what's effective, and what I have used for a long time. I've used diatomaceous earth. In fact, Alpine WSG is what I recommend for like ants and stuff like that. Alpine D-Dust they use diatomaceous earth in it. So it's Alpine and it's diatomaceous earth. That's together combined in a pesticide so that if the Alpine doesn't kill the bugs, the idea is hopefully the DE will. And so I've used it. I do have it. It's one in my arsenal. I use it. But it's also laced with a pesticide. So it's not just DE, it's pesticide as well. So I get really riled about DE because I want to drive home the point. I don't want people to make themselves sick. I've read so many comments from people that'll say, I wish I had seen your video sooner. I wish I had known about this sooner. I wish I had done this. I wish I had watched your video before I made myself sick. Now I have to be on a CPAP or I have to use breathing treatments. And it's not safe. I don't want you to hurt yourself. That's what I'm doing my channel. This is what I have my videos for. This is what I do. I'm on TikTok too. I got 2 people watching me on TikTok right now. I've got like 29 in YouTube. All right? I'm here to tell you what works so you don't hurt yourself. I don't want people to poison themselves. The more people that poison themselves, the more likely the government's going to come in and take away the pesticide even from me. That's what they do. That's what they did with chlordane. That's what they did with Dursban and Diazinon. They take it away from everybody. They don't just take it away from the person that doesn't have a license, that isn't insured. They take it away from everyone. So, and I don't want that. That's why I'm here, to teach you so that it helps everybody. Everybody learns. Everybody's in. It's good news for everybody. All right. So let's see. Does it make a difference if it's food grade? No, I just did that. All right. So Jennifer Lego says she's late. You're made it. You're never late. You're always on time. You're fashionably late. Women are always fashionably late. Probably had to do your makeup or something. That's how women are. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Somehow I got bed bugs. I bought Crossfire and Alpine WSG. How should I use them in combination? You do not combine them. You use Alpine WSG on baseboards and Crossfire on the bed. I have to use bathroom. I usually go like an hour or more before I have to use bathroom. But I got to use bathroom. So let me play some music and go use the bathroom. I'll be back. Oh, let me use the mic. You don't want to hear it. Sorry. I couldn't hold it. I had to go. I didn't have a chance to go to the bathroom before I started my live stream. Oh my goodness. So let's see. I'm in a one-bedroom apartment. Somehow I got bed bugs. I bought Crossfire and Alpine WSG. Okay, yeah, I read that one. Oh, let's see. I would recommend you'd use, where are you from? I'm from Virginia. So, let's see. We tried everything for 2 years, and we found you. Ordered Crossfire from your link. Took 2 applications, and then they were gone, and have not come back in months. Well, that is fantastic. I have had people call me on the phone crying to me because they used Crossfire and they've been able to sleep for several days, that they weren't able to sleep at all, and that they couldn't afford to hire an exterminator. I mean, you got an exterminator come in your house, and he says, all right, it's going to cost $1,200, or it's going to cost $2,400 or $3,400, and your eyes bug out of your head and you don't know what you're going to do because you can't afford that kind of money. And I understand what it's like to not be able to afford anything. And I mean, you might be able to afford $50. You might be able to even afford $120, $140, but you cannot afford $3,500 for a bed bug treatment. And so you're at your wit's end. You don't know what to do. So you go online and you look up any kind of alternative that you can. You try all kinds of crap because, like I said, these DE videos easily outrank mine. That people, that's what they see. That's what they want to see. They want to see the cheap, effective way to get rid of bugs, and a lot of times it's just a lie. And so, in fact, a lot of those comments on those videos, I've read some of them, and I don't understand how they're even real. I'm like, there's no way that this is true. There's no way. So, anyway. Emma's birthday is Sunday. She will be 9 on Sunday. I have not gotten her a pony yet. But I do play this game with her where she can go get all the ponies she wants. So, I have them in my van. Well, you could treat your van with Crossfire to kill them. Jason would be great to have as a neighbor. We could have cookouts in the summer. I'm vegan.
We do cook out.
We do cook out. We cook out veggies. I put veggies on the grill all the time. I love grilled vegetables. I'll tell you what. Grilled squash is just like, oh my gosh. It's so good.
I used to hate squash.
I hated squash. Okay, so my wife, she has brought me into all kinds of things. And like food-wise. And we got married. We've been married now for 10 years. We've known each other for 30 years. And actually 30 years in September. And I had never had Indian food. I had never had Thai food. I wouldn't eat olives. I wouldn't eat avocados. Lots of stuff, right? There's lots of crap I wouldn't eat. I had never been to Chipotle before I married my wife. And that place, I got a weird kind of love relationship with Chipotle nowadays. But there's so many things I still won't eat eggplant. That stuff's nasty.
You had it on a cruise where you absolutely loved it.
I didn't know it was eggplant, and you ruined the whole meal for me. Anyway. Watched all your bedbug videos to the end. Then again to show the wife. Then the kids. So blessed to have you as an expert we can trust. We almost spent $1,900 to heat our home to kill them. I had a customer one time tell me that they spent in 2 months to get rid of cockroaches over $500 and still had roaches like you would not believe. And it is, if you know the right tool to buy and you know the right products to use, typically it's not going to cost you $500. But yeah, you will spend a fortune in pesticides. Even if it's just a little bit. Like I said, this Harris stuff that I just showed everybody, it's like $20 a bag. If you were to get like the food grade DE that's $8 a bag and apply it, you honestly, yeah, it's only $8, but $8 here and $8 there and $5 here and $5 there, it racks up really fast. And if you're talking over 2 years suffering with bugs, you could spend a lot of money in 2 years trying to kill bugs. Let's see, how many eggs does a bed bug produce So a bed bug will bite you once. They only need to bite you once every 8 weeks. But one bed bug, there's actually a graphic that I put on my YouTube that I found. If you go to my YouTube and you go to community, while you're there, click subscribe and then go to community. There's Charlie. I haven't really done anything recently. There's Finley. But here you go. The Bed Bug Reproduction, the scary truth. 1 month, 1 bed bug, first egg laid day 1, and 7 eggs per week for a year. Okay, that's 1 bed bug. That's how many 1 bed bug does. In 12 months, in 1 year, it can become 38 million adult bed bugs. This amount of bed bugs can consume 1,000 pints of blood per week. So that is like an insane amount. But that's left untreated. You know, people, when they find out they have bed bugs, they start spraying for them anyway. And so that's like lab results. That's in a perfect world. If everything worked perfect and no bed bugs died, that's how many you would have. But 2 months is 28 bed bugs. Next generation is now laying eggs at the same rate as the first generation. So then you've got 28 generations. Then you have 5 months, you got 155 adult bed bugs. 9 months, you have 37,710. But you see how fast they multiply. And from 9 months to 12 months, it becomes from 37,000, it becomes 38 million. So that's just 3 months' time when you have that many bed bugs. And I've seen it. I mean, I've been in houses where they were that bad. I really have. I mean, if you just go to my TikToks, you could see the videos. And not just that, but on my YouTube. So if you go back to my YouTube page, my main page, and scroll down, this video right here, this is a bed bug infestation. So this used to be a chair. A chair used to sit here. And just to give you an idea of how bad they are, these are all bed bug casings. All of them. I mean, see, you gotta pick them up. Handfuls of them. Handfuls. Piles of them. Piles of bed bugs. There's piles of them right there. So, you know, they had them for about 7 years. They approximated 7 years. That's how long they had had bed bugs in that house. So, while I asked how to get rid of diatomaceous earth, the way you have to go, so diatomaceous earth, you have to go in and you have to use a HEPA filter vacuum to really get it up really well, because it's such a fine particulate. If you're wanting to try to get it up, I recommend a HEPA filtered vacuum to get up diatomaceous earth. But honestly, so I do get this, not often, not a lot, but I do get from time to time the random comment that comes in. Well, like the lady that just called. She's been treating for months trying to kill bed bugs, and this guy here says he's treated with Crossfire 3 different times, and he still is having bed bug problems. So, and also diatomaceous earth will counteract Crossfire, so you don't want the two applied together. But, you know, normally there's only a couple of reasons why, if you've treated more than 3 or 4 times with Crossfire, why you have not gotten rid of your bed bugs. Typically, it's because you either didn't mix the chemical properly, which I do have videos on that on my channel where you could find. They're easy to find, and or you're bringing them in. Maybe friends or family are bringing them in, and you don't know who it is, but they're bringing them in on their clothing, on their shoes. They will travel in the cleats of your boots and your tennis shoes. I've taken them out of people's houses. I have to be real careful. So I wear booties and stuff. I mean, you see in that video right there, like if you watch that video. This is a bed bug infestation. Let's watch it again. So right here. Used to be a chair. There you go. You probably can't see. Let me see. Let me scroll down a little bit. See that? Oops.
So it's really common.
Man, it started over. That's annoying.
Infestation. So it's really common.
Why is it doing that?
This is
a bed bug. You just have to go watch it. You need to go watch it. That's obnoxious. I can't do that anymore. That's annoying to me. But anyway, if you see that, I'm wearing booties in that house. I am not going to wear shoes. I'm going to wear booties over my shoes, if I walk through that house, and then I'm going to take them booties and I'm going to throw them in the trash can. You know, I'm going to go out to the curb and I'm going to put them in the trash can. There's no way I'm going to walk out of that house with my shoes on that I haven't, you know, bed bugs all over my shoes. As if there's no way you can avoid the bed bugs in that house. You're going to walk through them. They're everywhere. They were everywhere. They were in the foyer. I walked in for the front door. I mean, that's that one video. That's pretty severe. That's underneath where the guy was basically living in his chair, and that's why the bed bugs are so heavy there. But if you go in the front door, you just walk in the front door. They were crawling all over the floor. They were in every room of that house. They were really, really, really bad in that house. But these are the jobs I love. Maybe I'm crazy, but I like the jobs where other exterminators won't go in the house. They turn it down. They're afraid to go in the house. They will not do the job. Those are my favorite because I can go do it. I can get rid of the bed bugs. I feel like, man, I've really accomplished something no one else was brave enough to even try. And I'm like, I'll do it. I love that. That's my favorite. I love those jobs. But that's why I like bees and hornets and stuff too, because people are afraid of those things, but I like it. You can spray Crossfire on wooden furniture. If you're worried it might stain, like upholstery or even wood, try it on a spot that isn't visible and see what it does. And then if it's alright, treat the whole furniture. That's what I recommend. I haven't seen a bed bug for over a month now after using Crossfire. How long until we know we're 100% bed bug free? Typically it's within 30 days. Usually I tell people start counting 30 days after you see the last bed bug, and that's typically bed bug free, and that's the industry standard. So I'm sleepy. I'm always sleepy. I got babies. Oh, I'll show you, baby. Let me show you, baby. Now, Jennifer Lego. She's my mod. Who do you think that is right there? Just out of curiosity. That's one of my babies. That's one of my babies right there. Crossfire does not work for us on the leather chair. Does it for you? Yes. You can't treat it on the actual leather itself. You have to kind of pull the cushions back and treat down in the corners and in the sides and underneath, and you have to treat up underneath the leather chair along the legs, and you'll get rid of them that way. Sometimes you have to open up, like if there's any like compartments on the armrests or anything like that, you have to open those up and treat down inside those. The bed bugs will hide in those. If it's got pockets on the side, like for remote controls or maybe a magazine, a TV guide or something, you want to open those. I just said TV guide. Listen to me. I'm going to really age myself. But you'll want to treat down inside those, you know. But the leather itself is not going to hold chemical as well because it's not as porous as an upholstered piece of furniture. So, but yes, that's Emma. That's Emma. She guessed it was Emma. I knew she'd guess it was Emma anyway. I knew she was going to guess that. So, yes, that was Emma. That's my daughter. She'll be, like I said, she'll be 9. I reminisce, but I went over it last week about how I boo-hoo cry over the fact that my daughter is going to be 9, and she was just a little teeny tiny little baby. She was so little. She was so little. And now she's a grown 9-year-old. She got one more year and she'll be in double digits. I told her, I said, you'll no longer be single digits. You're going to be 10 next year. So thank you, Jason, for speaking to me on the phone. I will keep you updated in a month or so. I really appreciate you taking my call more than you know. Oh, yeah, no problem. I was glad to do it. What's your favorite Easter candy? What's my favorite Easter candy? Well, Reese's. I can't eat them anymore. But the Reese eggs are the best. You know, we'll talk about candy. I like candy. I got these little wrappers. You see these? See the little wrappers? This is from a wintergreen lifesaver. Alright? I'm a pig, but I need to throw these away. I really do. My wife, I'm surprised she hasn't yelled at me yet for having a whole pile of them over here because I just eat them like, I eat them like candy. But the Easter egg Reese cup. Why is it And this is a big beef for me. Okay, why is it that now I can't eat Reese cups anymore because I'm vegan, but I love Reese cups. I love Reese cups so much that I had a customer of mine that had them get into a Reese cup. They had mice get in and eat his Reese cups, and it hurt me in here, right in here, in my heart. Okay, it hurts. Why is it that Reese's only makes the very best Reese cup candy for the holidays? All right, you got Easter with those little eggs, and you got Christmas with the trees. It's the same chocolate. It's the same. It's different. It's the same type of chocolate. It's the same type. It's amazing peanut butter. The peanut butter is like peanut butter ball peanut butter. I mean, it's so much better. Why is it so much better? I don't know.
But
I have no
they
idea.
make it all year round. That's
Somebody's trying to call, but they keep hanging up every time they try to call. We treated a leather lazy boy recliner. It worked. It didn't stain it. Brown leather. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Should I apply Crossfire to my kitchen? Yes. Baseboards throughout the whole house. Hello. This is
Hey.
Jason. How are you?
How's it going?
You've called a couple
this is
times.
Harold.
You made it.
Yeah. I know. I just wanted to say, well, my first question is, have you tried the Reese's cereal?
Yeah, I have. It's good.
Yeah. So good. It's like I would say it's my favorite cereal.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm Harold. I was the one commenting
Yes.
on the live stream.
What was your question?
Okay. So, all right. So, as you saw, I had a wooden bed frame.
Yes.
And I did a makeshift bonfire. I burned it a little bit. I found bed bugs inside of it in the crevices, and they burned up and everything. Right now, that bed frame is in my garage. Well, it's like in a shed that's separate from my house. And the mattress, I covered it in a bed bug cover, and right now I'm sleeping in the guest room. But I did, since I have so much Diatomaceous Earth, I put it in the crevices, like in the closet, also in the outlets.
Right.
I sprayed it in the outlets, but so far I'm assuming that maybe the bed bugs were only in the bed frame, because I'm putting all my clothes through the dryer and everything. I haven't really found evidence. I've only found dead bed bugs, like in the carpet and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like in the carpet that was underneath the bed frame.
Right.
Right. So I know that you don't like Diatomaceous Earth, but
I just
have
don't want
so
people to
much
hurt
of it.
themselves, honestly. It's not a bad pesticide alternative. It's not. It's very effective, but
and
only if it's used correctly.
and I did watch your videos about it.
Yeah.
That's also why I'm sleeping in the guest room, because I don't want to potentially breathe it in. But yeah. I guess I don't know. I with your expertise, do you think that there might be more bed bugs hiding somewhere?
It's possible. The problem is that you're not using the room. And so the thing about bed bugs is they will go dormant. If you're not there for them to smell, they won't come out. And so you kind of need to be available. Like when I tell people to use Crossfire, a lot of times they'll use Crossfire, but then they'll sleep in another room. I'm like, well, no, you need to be in there with them, because they're not going to want to come out if they don't smell a host nearby. And they only the overall consensus is they only travel about between 10 and 20 feet. They don't even like to go 20 feet for a blood meal from where they're living. And so if they're just in the room, they can go dormant for 10 to 18 months. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's better to sleep in the room with them. But what you clean up the DE and put out Crossfire. Crossfire is non-repellent, where DE can be very repellent. And so and another thing about Diatomaceous Earth too is if you can see it. All right, so when you apply a dust, and this is not just DE, this is any dust, DE, boric acid, even pesticide dust. The thing is if you can see the dust, there's too much. If it's all clumped
Right.
up, it's way too much. And so the way it works is when diatomaceous earth sits on a microscopic level, when it sits on a surface, if there's more of it there, it actually will kind of compress in on itself and make a flat surface, and then it's no longer going to slice the bed bug like you want it to. It needs to be very sparse so that when the bug does crawl through it, it actually does what it's supposed to do. But when it falls on itself, it's almost like it kind of fits together like a puzzle. It'll just all kind of... The same thing happens with glass. If you have broken glass, the more of it you have piled up, it will actually kind of cave in on itself, and it makes more of a flat surface. It's not as jagged.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, so I did make sure to dust it very, very lightly where I don't see it.
Right.
And I did try my best to only do it in the cracks and crevices, because I didn't want to, leave it out on the surface. Some of it did get on the carpet,
Right.
which is what I'm a little afraid of. I did try to vacuum it up a little bit, but yeah, I guess right now my main concern is maybe if there could be more bed bugs hiding somewhere.
Well, the place that you put it, if you put it in the wall, that's the place I tell people to put DE all the time. If you're going to put it anywhere, put it in the wall, because it's not going to hurt you in the wall. It's not going to come out in the air if it's inside the wall. And that's actually a pretty good place for it. But as far as like out in the living space, I wouldn't have put it there. I would have treated with Crossfire there. I mean, I did do a job in Chantilly up near Arlington where I treated in the walls with DE, but I didn't treat the room with it. I just did the outlets with it. Because we couldn't find bed bugs. I was there for like 3 hours looking for bed bugs. I didn't find anything at all. I treated her bed. I treated the room. I treated the crown molding. I treated everything with Crossfire. I treated in the wall with DE. And she called me 3 days later, said she found 3 bed bugs crawled out and died in the middle of the room. So, even though I didn't find anything, she still had them hiding somewhere. But where, I have no idea. Yeah, still to this day, I'm like just completely amazed. But
Right. Okay. Hey, I'm in New Jersey, by the way.
Okay, you're not far.
So, yeah, it's not too far, but yeah. So I mean, I would say I found. I could probably count the amount of bed bugs that I found in the wooden bed frame. I would say it was probably like maybe 9 bed bugs. And so that wooden bed frame is. It's also, I dusted it with DE, and it's in the shed right now. But I guess I guess what I'm really trying to ask you is like, how likely would it be that there's more bed bugs in the room?
Likely, because you use DE and because they want to shy away from it. It's likely. It's likely. I mean, it may not. It may not. It's also possible that you killed them all. But to me, and every single job I've ever done, every single bed bug job I've ever been called out to. Of course, I've never been called out to the ones where they did it on their own and it worked. But the ones that I've gone to where they have used diatomaceous earth, it killed some of them, but it didn't kill all of them. And that's the problem. If you don't kill 100%, you will end up with the same problem you've got now again.
Okay. So so it sounds to me like maybe the solution here is get Crossfire and then sleep in the room, basically using myself as bait. As like bait.
That's exactly right. You're the bait in the mousetrap. That's the way it works. And they come out to bite you and they die.
Oh man,
I know it's unnerving. It's like you tell people, especially people that are really afraid of bugs. You tell them you have to be the one to lure them out. They hate it, but it works. It works really well.
Yeah. Okay.
It works. The thing is, if you price your bed bug jobs, even me locally, it's cheaper to just buy the Crossfire and do it yourself. You'll save hundreds of dollars with me and thousands of dollars with other companies. When you got somebody that comes in and they're pricing a heat treatment and they're going to charge you $2,400 to $3,500, and all you have to spend is $50 in a Walmart sprayer, that's pretty cheap. That's not bad.
Right. I guess another question is I did have a can of Hot Shot Bed Bug Killer. I haven't used it yet, but like what?
There is a
would it
can
work
of
if
Hot
I?
Shot that has the same ingredients as Crossfire. You have to read the label and look it up. Look up the label for Crossfire on the internet, and then look at the label you've got right there and see if it's got the same actives. You can use it temporarily.
Right.
A lot of times I will have people say, well, what can I do while I'm waiting for Crossfire to arrive in the mail? And that's one thing you can find on the shelf that is, it's basically aerosoled Crossfire. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not as good as mixing it yourself. You probably will only get about a week residual off of it, but it will kill them for a week while your Crossfire is arriving. So it's something you can kind of do in the meantime.
Yeah, I'm reading the can here. It says active ingredients: eniprotherin.
No, that's not Crossfire.
Okay, and then it says lambda-cyhalothrin.
Yeah, it's two synthetic pyrethroids.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. All right. Well, so for now, I mean, how likely do you think it would be that they would follow me to the guest room if there are any?
2 weeks to a month or so, usually.
Okay, or maybe just someone else in another room, maybe.
Yep. They'll find somebody.
Right.
They got to eat. They'll find somebody.
Right.
10 feet is inside a house is not very far. You know, it doesn't take them. 10 feet's just from one room to another usually.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take them long to spread all over the whole house.
I did put DE in the crevices right in front of the door.
Right.
So like where the wooden floor kind of ends. I put it there in case if because I think I was watching one of your videos that said that most bed bugs go in through the door.
Yep, that's right.
Basically.
About 80 to 90% of them.
Yeah,
You can use double-sided tape and catch them that way.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I might try that too. But yeah. I mean, it's it's just I guess it's maybe a little unfortunate that I have so much DE because I use it for my cat's fleas. But
I've heard people use it for their pets and stuff. I personally I don't treat animals because I'm not like a veterinarian or anything like that.
But
the way people use
that
it in their yard and stuff too. It helps with parasites and stuff that live in the yard, kills hookworms and stuff like that too. So it's not a horrible thing. Like I said, there are places for it. There are uses for it that are very conventional. But as far as pest control in your house, I always try to tell people, I've been using dust for years and I still make mistakes using dust. So it's one of those things where you really kind of, it does take a finesse and a professional approach to use it correctly. And I just don't think that people have that ability, that they haven't been trained. I mean, even me, I still make mistakes, and I've had 34 years of training using a duster.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, though. I've been trying to watch your live stream for
tonight was a late night. None of my kids wanted to go to bed, and so it was like after 10 before I got on tonight. But I usually try to get on earlier if I can.
Well, I'm glad you got on now because this was the perfect time for me.
Well, good.
To catch
I'm glad,
you.
Harold.
Yeah. Thank you so much, James. I guess
one.
So thank you. I guess the plan really is to just get Crossfire and sleep in the room once again, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, James. I really, really appreciate it.
Anytime. Have a good one.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye. So let's see. Why, if you're vegan, can you not eat peanut butter? Oh, yeah, I answered that. Yeah, I can't have anything with dairy. So vegans don't eat dairy, eggs, or meat. Basically anything from an animal. Now, I eat honey. That's an exception. So most vegans don't even eat honey, but I will eat honey because honey is just really, it's good. And it's actually got a lot of medicinal purposes. I like honey. Glad I and my husband are not the only ones suspicious of the holiday Reese's conspiracy. Absolutely. I'll tell you the best Reese cup, though. The best Reese cup I ever had. I was a teenager, and I got another call. I'm going to tell you. Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. Can I help you?
Yes, I have been watching your show off and on for a while now.
Okay.
And so this is going to be a hard call for me, and I'm going to try and make it as short as I can. But about 6 years ago, I found bed bugs in my house, and I believe they were either from a family member or from us going on vacation. But anyhow, you know, whenever you first start out having bed bugs and you don't know anything about it, you know, we paid someone that was like saying he was doing all the right things. He had a little steamer and he steamed our furniture and he sprayed, and we ended up throwing away our living room furniture. And then, you know, I still was getting bites, and so we got more new furniture in the bedroom. Continually bought new mattresses, but anyhow, over time, we've had the house sprayed by different pest control companies. I was still getting bit, even though I wasn't finding them, and so I ended up paying to get a heat treatment. And by the standards I had seen in the past, they didn't like heat long enough. Okay.
Okay.
So I was still getting bit, but not finding anything. I would find blood spots on the bed and stuff like that. So, you know, by this point, I'm kind of losing it. We spent a lot of money on furniture and on paying someone to come in and spray. And so then I hired someone to bring a bed bug sniffing dog into my house. And at that point, I wasn't getting a lot of bites whenever the dog come in. They assured me that they didn't believe that I had them. Okay, that's probably about halfway point through this 6-year period. My son had to go into college, you know, traveling back and forth. And so, needless to say, I have bought Crossfire. And before I watched your video of mixing it, you know, the half, you know, trying to use half at a time, you know, 13 ounce, I did that. But I also bought the Crossfire in the can, the aerosol.
Yep.
So anyhow, so recently I did when the last time I sprayed that second half of the Crossfire and I bought some aerosol. I hadn't been seeing the blood spots. There's been a couple of times I found the little black specks. But I'm not finding bed bugs. And everybody tells me that it must be something else because my house would have been overrun with bed bugs by now.
They would. I agree. That video, I don't know if you were watching that video that I showed, but those people had the bed bugs for about 7 years, and that's how they get. I mean, you can obviously see them everywhere. They will be everywhere after 6 or 7 years.
Even if you treat like here and there.
Well, if you're
like
if you're still getting them, I would imagine yes, because you would have a problem with chemical resistance. The thing about the bed bugs and cockroaches both develop what's called chemical resistance and chemical immunity. So they will get resistant to pesticide, meaning the pesticide will not kill them to the point where they become completely immune to where it will no longer kill them. And they will, if you are not being successful. And so the fact, or you're having them continuously being brought back into your house from a source that you're not sure of. I had a customer that was bringing them in from the school bus for years. Didn't realize they were coming in from the school system. Over and over and over, they would bring sporadically. And it wasn't all the time. It was just, he would go for 3 or 4 months maybe, not have a single bed bug at all, and his son would bring them back in from the bus. Rode the bus every single day. It only happened every now and then would he bring bed bugs in from the school bus. But it happens. You know, friends and family, visitors, stuff like that can bring them in. You know, apartments, if you're in an apartment, the neighboring apartments can get them and bring them in. So, you know,
what about I know this might sound like a crazy question, but I don't believe I'm the only one with this question. I don't live in an apartment, but I do live in a neighborhood where the houses are fairly close. I know you said the bed bugs don't like to travel more than about 20 feet.
Right.
But strange, I feel like I'm driving down the road and everybody's got, you know, not everybody, it's an exaggeration, but I feel like a lot of people have stuff sitting in their carport and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like, does everybody got bed bugs, you know?
Right. Yeah, probably
And
do. A lot of them probably do. I mean, truthfully, I mean,
I've heard,
that's why I said, so the customer that I had that figured out they were coming from the school bus, what he did was he went to the school and picked up his son one day, followed the boy's bus, the bus he would have driven home, followed it all the way to his house, and out of 10 stops, he was like the 11th stop on the route, the 10 stops before, 5 of them had their beds or their bedroom suits sitting out on the curb or on a carport. And so he figured the neighborhood must have bed bugs. I can't let my son ride the bus anymore. And so he didn't, and the bed bugs disappeared because I was still spraying the house, so all the bugs that made it in the house died, and then he didn't have any more problem with bed bugs because he wasn't putting his son on the school bus. And you know how kids are. They get on the school bus, they throw their backpacks up underneath the chair, and they rub up against each other, and they bring them home, and then they take their backpack, put it on their bed, and then the bed bug crawls out, and then there it is on their bed. And so it's a real common thing with buses, public transit, stuff like that. Now, they don't usually travel from house to house because they're not going to. Well, they're not going to smell you. You know, that's the thing is you're in your house. They're not going to know you're in your house if they're in the neighbor's house.
Right.
And that's what they're attracted to.
You know,
They're
I can't get my family to get on board. And I feel like I've sprayed so much, and it's not. I mean, it's been all different kind of chemicals, and of course I've used Cymexa in the outlets and like behind furniture and stuff like that. And I knew that it was like bad for your lungs, so I tried not to use, you know, a ton of it. But you know, I would still find occasional blood spots on clothing. I've washed our clothes. I've dried everything to the point where it's shrunk for the most part, unless it's fairly new. You know, but, you know, I got a son that brings a backpack in. You know, he doesn't go to school anymore, but he carries a lot of stuff in it. And I got another son that does go to school, which he drives himself.
Right.
But, you know, I can't get my family to get on board because they think that it's all in my head. But we all have red bumps on, like, our neck or our arms or our chest. And I know that's not a guarantee of bed bugs, but, you know, in my mind...
I will tell you, just to try to set your mind at ease, I will tell you that bed bug dogs are very effective. There's a guy out in West Virginia that raises them, and he charges a lot of money for them, and he has like Springer Spaniels, and they're probably the best breed of bed bug dog. But even the Beagles, German Shepherds, Labradors, and stuff are used for bed bug sniffing dogs, and they're effective too. And if you had a bed bug dog come in and it had the right training and it knew the difference between a live or a dead bug and it did not trigger, then I would have a hard time believing that you had bed bugs at all, because bed bug dogs are very effective. They are very effective. Now, back 10, 15 years ago, people were using these stupid termite dogs. They're not effective at all. But bed bug dogs are very good at finding bed bugs because you've got a person there with the dog. And if the dog is going to trigger on a bed bug, you're going to know that dog found a bed bug, that's where they're living. And I have actually recommended this to people where they have problems finding bugs, is if you have a bed bug dog come in, they can look and find the bug. So it's a very effective way to try to figure out where the bugs are actually living.
And you know, and like I said, that was about 3 years ago. But you know, like I don't feel like it's that common for people to find blood on their bed, or
you'd
even
be surprised how many
black
pictures
spots.
people send me pictures of blood spots every day. I had somebody send me pictures today. That just because you have blood spots in your clothes or on your bed, that doesn't mean you have bed bugs either, because people will get pimples, people will get sores, so I do this. I'm horrible. In fact, I've got a scratch mark. I had one on my arm. It's not already healed. I scratch myself in the middle of the night and I will bleed on my sheets. I do it because I have a problem biting my nails. I don't know if you're still watching. I have horrible, horrible problem biting my nails. I'm picking at them right now while I'm talking to you on the phone. And I get jagged nails, and then I'll scratch myself into sleep, and I'll get blood spots on my sheets and in my clothes. So that happens to me all the time. But that doesn't mean I have bed bugs, because I don't. But, you know, I still get blood spots from time to time. But bed bugs stink.
And
they kind of smell like rotten strawberries. Somebody actually just mentioned that in chat. That's absolutely true. But bed bugs will have a weird kind of an odor. You can smell them.
so I've even thought, well, maybe it's like bird mites or something like that, because I do
Usually
find...
you won't have spots from bird mites, though. Usually the bites that a bird mite creates, you won't have a reaction in the same way. So you won't actually have a bug bite. You'll feel them, like insulation, like itchy, like they're biting you, but you can't see the bites. But bird mites are visible. They're like 1/32 of an inch. They're really super small, but you can see them. Especially on like white sheets and stuff. They look like little specks of pepper flakes.
You know, and at the very beginning of all this that happened, I did find some carpet beetles in the house as well.
Now you'll break out with those. They will cause you to get red bumps.
I did know that. But I hadn't even seen any more of the carpet beetles in quite a while.
Well, if you've been spraying, you shouldn't. They're easy to kill.
I really don't know what to do, because it's like embarrassing. Even if I don't have bed bugs and I'm walking around with big old red spots on my neck or chest or my face, I just seriously don't know. Should I just keep trying to, spray Crossfire? You said you use it once a month for prevention, or
you can.
I really don't know.
Prevention. Usually, I just use Alpine for prevention. It's cheaper. It's still expensive, but it's cheaper than Crossfire. Crossfire is really high. So usually for preventative, I typically use Alpine WSG, and so I'm not having to spend $50 a bottle every time I apply it. That's really expensive. But and I can do it regular every single month for people on their houses. If they want that kind of service, I can do that for them. But and Alpine actually will allow the treatment even of box springs, so you can come in and hit the box springs. You don't even have to flip the bed off the bed frame, and you can still do that. But the thing that now I'm people get so offended when you tell them this, but it's a possibility that it's parasitic psychosis, and I can't really diagnose that because I'm not a doctor. But usually I tell people that if they're still having problems with bug bites and they can't find a single bug, you've had exterminator after exterminator after exterminator in the house, and they can't find anything either, then there is a certain type of a thing that happens to people that have bed bugs, and they will still feel. And I talked about this at the very beginning of the chat tonight, called parasitic psychosis. It's where your brain, you're still scared, and the stress level, the stress will cause you to break out in hives, and it will feel like you're still getting bit, but it's really just your body doing it to you because you're so stressed out over the fact that you had bed bugs before. Scabies is an option. Somebody just mentioned that. That's something that does happen to people. And it doesn't have to be sexually transmitted. You can get it from animals, just like a dead animal outside the house. If a possum or something dies and has scabies, you can have scabies come in from the house because the animal's now dead and they don't have a host. And so there's lots of different things it could be, but I don't think it's bed bugs.
So you think that I would be seeing them by now is what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
I find things, I think it's a bed bug, and then I will take my phone, take a picture, and blow it up, and it's not because there's no legs.
Yeah, but bed bugs
really
bed bugs are about the size of an apple seed full grown. They're a good size. They're not invisible. You could see every single stage, even the eggs of a bed bug. Like an ink pen, bed bug egg is like about the size of the tip of an ink pen. So, you can see them. You can see them. They're bigger than a bird mite.
I gotcha. Well, just to give you an example, like my husband, he went golfing one time, and he got a shirt out of the closet, and usually I'll try to dry everything, pretty often, or wash it pretty often. But he went golfing, and he come home, and he had a big old blood spot on his shirt, and he was like, "Oh, well, something flew up on me, and I squashed it." I said, "What did it look like?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't actually see it." And all in my mind I could think of was, it must have been a bed bug hiding in the shirt when he put it on, and he squashed it and didn't see it, and he just, you know what I mean?
Well, bed bugs usually don't get in your clothes. So I know people always, in fact, exterminators will get people. They give them this fear, and they tell them that, you got to remove all your clothes out of your closets. You got to remove all your clothes out of your dressers. You got to bag them up and dry them all and wash them and all and do all this crap and all this, prep work for an exterminator. And mainly the reason they want you to do it is so they can go in and just spray chemical anywhere and they don't have to worry about getting it on your clothes. It has nothing to do with the fact that the bed bugs are living in your clothes, because bed bugs don't usually live in your clothes. Bed bugs usually live near your bed. They usually live on the bed frame. They live on underneath the bed, like shoe boxes and stuff. They're not going to live in your clothes because, I mean, how are they going to get a blood meal from a t-shirt? You know, how can they get a blood meal from a sock? They can't get a blood meal from your clothing. They're not going to naturally be attracted to your clothes. They're going to be attracted to you, and they're going to want to live near you. Now, if you have your dresser touching your bed, then there's a possibility you might have some bed bugs living in your dresser closest to the bed. Like your drawers that are closest to the bed, they might be living in those. But they're not going to live in the entire dresser. They're going to live close to you. You're the host. They can't live on you because they don't have that ability. They're not able to. I'm sure if they did, they would, but they can't. So they have to live near you so they can come out and chew you up. But that's the truth. They don't live in your clothes.
You know, I appreciate you doing the show. You know, like I told you, I've been struggling for about 6 years. Talked to counselors and tried just about every spray that there is. And like I said, heat treatments and just like everything. And I am aware of the parasitic psychosis. I didn't know the name for it, but when I see the red spots on everybody else, like, I'm thinking,
well,
okay,
your eyes aren't going to lie to you. You're seeing something that exists. But the thing, and that's what I tell people too. I've had people call me up and they've said, well, my exterminator says I'm crazy. They think I have this psychosis. And I'm like, well, it doesn't always that's not always the case. It's a lot of times it's just an easy way out where an exterminator can't find the problem. They just say, oh, you're just crazy. I'm not going to work for you. And that's basically the way that they can get their easy way out. But really it's offensive to the person. And that's why I said, I'm not trying to be offensive. I want to help you. And I feel like that might be the case. There are certain, even pharmaceuticals that can cause you to have the breakout in hive. I know my mother, when she was still alive, she broke her clavicle, and they put her on oxycodone or something like that, and she broke out in hives all over her body because she had a really bad reaction from the medication they had her on. So there's lots of things that can cause issues with bug bites or pimples or whatever to come up on your body that have nothing to do with bugs at all. It looks like a bug bite, but it's actually a reaction of something that you're doing to yourself, and you just don't know what it is.
So, can I ask your opinion? What can I do? Like, I find these little red spots. When I say red spots, I don't even know what they are.
If you're well, you might have spider mites too, because spider mites are clover mites. Let's see.
I thought about that. Yeah,
because they're red. And they look like little red dots, and when you smush them, they make a red spot. And just like blood, I mean, you think it's blood, but it's not. It's their blood, actually. It's like a red dye in their body that makes them red when they get squished. And that might be what you've got, and they can bite you too. And they don't bite you as often as like a bug, like a mosquito or a bed bug or something like that. But they will bite you, and they're obnoxious, and they get on everything. And you can kill those. You can just do granulated pesticide around the outside, around the base of your house, and around your yard, and that'll kill them. Water your yard.
I did forget to tell you one thing. Okay, so, and this is something that was really, okay, all that time I told you that I couldn't find anything. Well, one day I was looking. We had ripped all of our carpet out, put down new flooring, and when I'm talking about, like, laminate flooring. So I found some little red things on the floor, behind the headboard. And to me, I thought they were red. I thought that they were bed bugs. And then I started looking around, and I found a couple of red things on the bottom of my shoe, but they wasn't exactly they were small, and they didn't look exactly like a bed bug. But I went to wipe it off because I wasn't sure what it was, and it smashed, and it was red.
Yeah, it sounds
and
like
usually
spider
I'll pour rock.
Or clover
so
mites.
what I was going to tell you is I found in my cousin's pillow and my son's pillow.
Right.
In the white stuffing.
Yeah, but they get
so
everywhere.
Whatever these little red things were, they were in the white stuffing of the pillow.
Yeah, and they will be everywhere. They will get all over the house. They will get all over the walls. They will get on the ceiling. They will be in the carpet. They will be in your pillowcases. They will get those mites are so invasive and obnoxious. And like I said, the only way you could really truly eliminate them is monthly pest control around the exterior of your house, and especially like granules work the best because they are like time release with water, and so you can spread granules out over the yard and they will last the longest. So even when it rains, it will activate them a little more and a little more and a little more, and so they're really effective. And I would recommend you try that and see if that helps. But I think that's what you've got. I don't think you have bed bugs. I think it's something else. I don't think it's bed bugs.
So, finding them inside the stuffing of the pillow, do you think
they
that
will
could
go in
possibly
the pillow stuffing. They will do that. They burrow in everything.
You
You
talking
will
about
find them in
spider mites?
everywhere you could think of.
You mean the spider mites? Is that
Yes.
what you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
One of them's red. It's spider mites or clover mites. I get the two mixed up all the time, but one of them is red. It's either clover mite or a spider mite, but one of them is red and one of them is gray. And I can never get the two of them. I always have to look it up every single time, but one of them's red and one of them's gray. It's the same treatment for both of them. So
have you ever heard of one having as much of a complicated problem as me?
yeah,
I'm just-
all the
I'm
time,
just
every
curious.
day. I get calls from
Like-
people like you every day. It's my job.
Like, I mean, like I'm telling you, I've tried everything, and and then I try to give up on it and just forget about it, and move on with my life.
Right.
And then I come across your story. I'm like, one of these days I'm going to call him.
Well,
One
yeah.
of these days I'm just going to call him.
Well, I'm glad you did.
So, what kind of stuff? You said granules. Like, are we talking about maybe like 7 dust, or what are we talking?
You just go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you look in the pest. You go to the lawn and garden center and you look at the type of granules they have for pest control. You can ask somebody
And,
there; they'll show you where they're at, and just spread them over the yard.
So, now, would that Alpine SG that you were talking about, would that help with spider mites, or would that only help with?
That probably won't work with spider mites. I would need to look it up and let you know. Let me see. Usually you'll want like a synthetic pyrethroid for outside. Demand CS is what some people are recommending to work really good on spider mites. But that is a good... Demand is actually a really good pesticide for arachnids, and I would recommend that. Demand would... I didn't even think about Demand, but that would work really well for spider mites. And it is the spider mite that is red. It is spider mites. So, now that I looked it up...
And the things that I find, I don't even see his legs. I don't know if it's just because they're so tiny or what, I keep saving little things. I was going to try to take them to a pest control company, but most of the people that I have come in contact don't seem to be that knowledgeable, maybe because I'm in a small town. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I've been doing pest control all my life, so I've had to learn these things. But spider mites are real common in the area where I live. I have a lot of customers that get them this time of year. They're a problem right now. Where do you live? What state do you live in?
Missouri.
Well, see, Virginia right now, with the climate we have, spider mites are bad usually from February until about May. And then they're another problem. They usually come back in the fall. But they will get into your house year-round if you just happen to live with them. I mean, I know the summer, a lot of times I have some customers with a pool, and if you go out to the pool on the concrete, you can see them crawling all across the concrete, but they're red. And they do come in from outside. You'll get them all the time. If you don't treat your house, like these areas, like these pools and stuff, I always have to treat all around the perimeter of the pool even, just to keep the spider mites off of the pool deck, because you'll be walking across with your bare feet going swimming and stepping on those stupid spider mites, and they get red crap all over the bottoms of your feet. And so they're really gross. And yeah, so it's a real common thing here. I deal with them all the time this time of year. They're starting right now. I've already had calls on them within the last couple of weeks. I get a lot of calls this time of year on them, where they don't know what they are, and they just wonder, what are these red specks that move on my wall? What are they? So,
well, I'll try that, and like I said, and so as far, do you think that it would be okay for me to still go ahead and use the preventative? I don't want, if I did have any, like somebody brought in a bed bug, I don't want to cause them to
I don't know if Alpine or or Alpine WSG or Crossfire will work on spider mites, because I'm not sure. They're recommending on this site right here, they're just recommending demand, but that's right. I remember that from using it before to kill spiders. It's actually really good on spiders and arachnids, and if it works good on spiders, it would work good on a spider mite as well, because you would think they're of the same family. And so it makes sense to use demand for spider mites. Now, Alpine WSG,
Well,
I
I'm
don't
just worried, after you having bed bugs, I always wanted to do a preventative, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it
sounds
for
terrible,
preventative.
but-
It's not a bad idea to do prevention for bed bugs. It doesn't hurt. It's going to be cheaper than trying to get rid of them when you get them, and it's going to be less obnoxious. If you ever bring bed bugs in the house, it's going to be less obnoxious because it'll be down and it will kill them. But the problem is the spider mites that are getting in the house, you still want to treat inside for those beforehand, because you want to kill those first. And so whatever's in the house will live in the house, so you want to treat for the spider mites and then give it a month or two, and once the spider mites are gone, then you can resume your preventative for bed bugs. The two chemicals counteract each other. That's why I said they counteract each other. So the demand is going to be a repellent, where the Crossfire is a non-repellent. So they work against each other.
And I was wondering about that, so I don't usually even spray for other things. I've been just trying to get rid of these bed bugs years, right?
Right.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. You have a really great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. And I got to pee again. I tried to make that phone call last, but I got to use the bathroom again. I'll be right back. I promise. I promise I'll be back. I promise. Oh my goodness. How's my music just choices? How does that sound to everybody? I know it's like playing over here and people to listen to it and everything, but I just was curious. 40 ounces. But, so let me tell you a story. Wait a minute. I was saying something before the phone rang. I can't remember what it was. I said I was going to finish. No, I didn't. Anyway, so when I first started YouTube, I would just sit down in front of my camera, my phone, and I would talk. And I would maybe edit the video, but most of the time it was just one take. Still, to this day, it's still just basically one take. I sit there, I just talk about stuff, about bugs and stuff. So I would cough on my videos. Watch some of my old videos. I cough all the time. I have this dry cough because I didn't realize that when you speak to a camera and all you do is talk for maybe 45 minutes to an hour to get a decent video, your throat will get dry and you have to drink water to keep your throat from getting too dry, because when your throat gets dry you cough horrible. And so I sit here on my live streams, I sit here and I talk and I drink water, and I have to get up and use bathroom. But anyway, that's why I have to get up and use bathroom, because I drink too much water, and that's just the way it is. Anyhow, I was talking about Reese cups and how delicious they are and how I miss them. Because, I mean, I get the Justin's cups. They have them at Target, and they're vegan, like dark chocolate, and they're good, but they're not Reese's. Reese's just hits right. You know, they got that peanut butter to chocolate ratio down, and on the holidays, they're even better. They're so good. But I like jelly beans too. I really like jelly beans, but a lot of those aren't vegan either because they got bugs in them, and I don't eat that. I don't eat bugs. I kill bugs. I don't eat them because that what do they call it? What is that stuff? That's got bugs in candy.
What has bugs in candy?
Yeah, what is it? What's the ingredient?
Confectioner's glaze.
Confectioner's glaze is made from bugs. Makes the candy nice and shiny. So yeah, I don't eat it. Anyway, it's kind of gross. Let's see, I'm just reading through these questions. I actually just reading through the chat. People been talking to themselves. Talk amongst yourselves when I'm on the phone, and that's what they do. Let's see. I was video chatting with my kid the other night, and all I could think about was, OMG, there is a bed bug. It was black lint from the bedding. He turned his pillow over because it was bothering me so much. Yeah. What's a cheaper alternative to Crossfire? Maybe Tempered, but you're going to have to treat twice as often. So with Crossfire, you treat once a month. With Tempered, you treat every 2 weeks. See you later, Jennifer. Thank you for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. It's nice seeing you again. I should probably cut out myself. It's been almost 2 hours. I'm tired myself. I got to get to bed. I got these kids. I got to drive to Northern Virginia tomorrow. My daughter will be, like I said, she'll be 9, and we're going to go celebrate her birthday with her grandparents. And so, travel up in Northern Virginia. Well, you know, Caveman, he says they use dye from beetles for red velvet cake and grapefruit, and many vegans won't consume it. Well, you know, I don't like bugs in my food. I don't. There are restaurants I won't go to because they have bugs, and I don't want to eat bugs. I don't want to eat bug poop. I don't want to eat bug legs or body parts, or I don't like to eat bugs. Sometimes people will starve, and they will eat a bug if they're starving. Because, well, it's the only thing they can find to consume, and so they eat a bug to live. I don't like bugs in my food. Joyce says bug bites and suspend. Let's see. You had said something about that earlier. Alright, so let me tell you a thing about mites. The best thing for bird mites, poultry mites, whatever, is permethrin. But the problem is that perethrins, or permethrin specifically, has different formulations. I went over this last week in my live stream. I got one. This is going to be my last phone call, and I'm going to have to probably get off for the night. Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. Can I help you? Yes, you are. once a month. Well, are you a professional? You might get lucky. You might get lucky and get rid of them with one treatment, but I usually recommend for people that haven't used it before and aren't professional that it may take up to 3 visits to do it, 3 treatments. But you might be able to get rid of them with just one. I get rid of them with just one treatment. It's almost every time. And you might be able to do it yourself. I know a lot of people who have. Yeah. Yeah. I would recommend it. Yeah. I'd recommend at least once. Do it and see what happens. I give people up to 50 days after the original treatment. And I tell them, call me anytime within the first 50 days. And I'll come back. And I usually only charge half price to come back and do a follow-up. But I don't ever have to do follow-ups. That's the thing. It just doesn't happen that often ever. And I'm the cheapest one listed locally, and it's even cheaper the second time. And so, yeah, I very rarely have to go back a second time. Last year, I think I only did 3 or 4 follow-ups. I count them on one hand, how many I had to go back to. But I've been doing bed bug work for 23 years. You know, I know where to treat. I know what's effective. I know where they live. I know everything about a bed bug you could imagine. And so if you understand, if you can put yourself in the head of a bed bug, you have to think like a bed bug. And if you were a bed bug, where would you live? If you were a bed bug, how would you travel in and out of a bed to get your blood meal every day? And if you put yourself in their shoes and live like them, you can treat the areas they would live and kill them and be very effective. So they all feed, every stage of bed bug will feed on blood, but the baby that hatches from an egg does not feed immediately. They wait a week before they bite you. So the egg takes a week to 10 days to hatch, and the baby takes a week to 10 days to bite you. So if a bed bug laid an egg today, usually you get bit by that baby within 3 weeks. So it can take as much as 20 to 21 days to get bit. That's why I said sometimes you need a second treatment, because if you have a lot of eggs, you may need to treat one more time. But if you've only seen one bug, you could probably get rid of them with just one treatment.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry, y'all couldn't hear the caller because I had it muted. I didn't realize it. But basically what she did was she asked me about how often you should have to treat for bed bugs, and I was trying to explain to her that, you know, sometimes it only takes one treatment, sometimes it takes 3. But, you know, with professionals, non-professionals alike, you know, sometimes it takes longer to get rid of bed bugs if you're not a professional. I mean, I've had to go back on follow-ups before. It doesn't happen as often as, you know, it used to. But, you know, the more and more I treat for bed bugs, the better I get at it, and the less often I have to go back. And so when someone calls up and they aren't a professional and they say, you know, how many times do I need to treat for bed bugs? I tell them 3, because 3 is a good number. I've been doing it that way for years. I didn't start doing one-time treatments until the last 3 years. For the 23 years of my life, the 20 years that I was doing bed bugs before this last 3 years, I was doing 3 treatments. I was doing 90-day service plans. But as I started using Crossfire, which I've only used about 4.5, 5 years, I noticed that when I was going back for my second and my third treatment, I never found bed bugs on the third treatment, and very rarely did I find them alive on the second treatment. A lot of dead bugs, but never live bugs. And so that's when I started offering customers cheaper alternatives. So I can go once. Of course, if you're having to price a bed bug job as an exterminator, you're doing 3 treatments. That's 3 times as expensive. Okay? because I have to figure I'm going to have to go to their house once a month for 3 months in a row. I have to get paid for that. So if I can just do one treatment, it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. And so I can do it that way, and then I tell the customer, if you need follow-up, call me. It will be cheaper the second time. I give you half off. I do it 50% off, basically at cost, to come out and do the job. And that's my guarantee. It's the best guarantee I can offer because people bring bed bugs back in on themselves all the time. And so I give them half off of a follow-up treatment. If they call me within 50 days of the original treatment, that's what I do. And I hardly ever have to go back. It just does not happen. And the ones that I do, it's just a nagging problem that maybe they brought them back in on a chair or a person. Actually, the last one I did where I had to do a follow-up, it's been months, but I had to do a follow-up on her house. And the reason I had to do a follow-up is because somebody from her family brought bed bugs back into the house. And she told her mother not to do that, and they did it anyway, and they brought the bed bugs back into the house again. So, and phone lines are closed because sometimes I get on tangents and I talk forever on the phone. So I did close the phone lines after that last call. So I'm sorry if you didn't get in. Let me go ahead and do this. If you didn't get in tonight for the phone calls, then I will be back next week on Thursdays. I will answer a few more questions in the chat before I leave. But Thursday nights after 9 o'clock. Tonight I didn't get on until 10, but it's Eastern time. I live in Virginia, so it's Eastern time. And hopefully I'll be able to make it earlier next week. But let's see. What do you think about Bedlam? I don't like it. Bedlam is by the same people who make Crossfire, and the reason they started making Crossfire was because of resistance to Bedlam. Jason, I really appreciate our phone consult on Tuesday. You gave me the confidence to tackle this problem. I feel like it was worth every penny. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Michelle. I hate charging people to talk to me on the phone, but my wife loves me, and my children love me, and they like to spend time with me, and that's the only way I can spend time with my family, because otherwise I'd have people calling me on the phone all the time. Joyce Bennett says, you said bird mites don't leave a bite. Maybe no-see-ums. No-see-ums will leave a bite. No-see-ums are a type of biting fly. Some people call those little super tiny mosquitoes no-see-ums, but they absolutely will leave a bug bite. No-see-ums will. But they're a fly. They're basically a biting fly. I keep Crossfire on deck. I only had to do one treatment, but I was so scared they may return. I order more and sprayed again. Some people will get me to do the follow-ups just because of the paranoia. You know, they have bed bugs. They want to just make sure just to be on the safe side, but they don't have to. I always tell my customers, you don't have to. You don't have to, have me come out a second time unless you know you have bed bugs still. But they still do it anyway. They still like, no, it's fine. It's still cheaper than anybody else. I would rather just go ahead and do the 2 treatments and feel safer. I would feel better that way. People have actually looked at me and said, I would feel better that way if you would just do 2. And so I do. Some even do 3, just to feel safe. So we had bed bugs for at least 2 years. The one treatment did great. Thank goodness something is effective. Some of those old school poisons are a joke now. Yeah, I know. Where in the heck are spiders falling from the sky? I just got here in case no one brought it up yet. I'm terrified of the news reports for these spiders falling from the sky. Sounds like media fear-mongering to me. Sounds like some killer bees. What do you think? Killer hornets? You want some more killer hornets? Okay, so if you've got a problem with a biting fly or a no-see-um, you have to treat around your windows and your doors, overhangs. They will breed in standing water just like mosquitoes. So you want to go out, if you've got any old tires or anything like that, you want to get rid of those. You want to turn over any kiddie pools or anything like that, anything that's going to hold water, harbor water. Get rid of most standing water, if not all of it that you can. Bird baths, all that stuff needs to be emptied. And then you want to treat like I said, all around your windows, all around your doors, your eaves, your soffits, under bushes. Like if you've got boxwoods around the house, you want to treat up underneath the bushes. and that way you kill the areas that the mosquito or the no-see-um can live, because just like mosquitoes, no-see-ums breed in the exact same manner, and they like to roost in the same way. And so if you treat those areas, spread granules over the yard, you should be able to get rid of your no-see-um problem. It's going to be hard if you're living on a farm, because there's so many places that the bugs can hide. And because of the amount of land you have, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you. But it can be done. You can at least cut down on them. Go throughout the house. Look for all potted plants that you might have in your house. Make sure they don't have too much water in them. Only water them enough to where they drink the water and you don't have standing water in the dish on the bottom of the pot. Because that standing water, I had a customer one time who had no-see-ums breeding in the bottom of the, because you have your flower pot, and it sits on top of like a little terracotta bowl, and that little terracotta bowl will hold water. If you overfill your pot, it will hold a little bit of water there, and the no-see-ums will breed in that too. So go and empty all of those and make sure all those are empty. So, but y'all have a really great night. I appreciate it. It's been 2 hours. If you're new here and you'd like to see more of my videos or my streams, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate everybody that comes out to talk to me tonight. Y'all have a really great night. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next Thursday night live, like I said, after 9 o'clock. Thursday nights, Eastern time after 9. So y'all have a real great night. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you again next week. Have a good one.